Hello friends and welcome to The Sims 4 Create a Sim. I'm your host MagicManMo and we're doing a very different kind of video today. I'm going to be voicing over my Create a Sim experience trying to create Pigsaw from Inkagames and Mazniac. I came across a few challenges doing this already. Immediately we're trying to get his face shape quite right. It's a very strange face shape that we're not used to seeing. I don't know, something about his cheekbones, I don't know, it felt like I wasn't quite able to capture the sort of weird T shape of his face, if that makes sense. But here we are trying to pick out his hair. Look, if we can get his hair right, maybe the rest of his face will fall in line. Unfortunately, we can't get his hair right. It's too wide, it sticks out too far. But there's just really not any like decent options for like something less ridiculous. So we're gonna go with very much a clown look here. We need to get rid of his stubble, no beard here. I got rid of all his other like facial features because he doesn't really have much of anything going on. I played around to see if there was anything that spoke to me in his teeth, but you never really see Pigsaw's teeth, so we really didn't mess with that or any sort of scarring or anything like that. I messed around a little bit, just kind of like looking around to see if anything in the eyes makes sense. I did switch him to vampire because that's the only way without cheating to give him these eyes. He's got those red ring eyes with the like black corneas, I guess what that part of the eye is called. With a normal sim, without cheating, you can't really do that, so I made him a vampire. Let me know if that was the right move. Maybe Pigsaw has been secretly a vampire this whole time, and that's why he's got magical powers. I mean, there are actual spellcasters in The Sims 4, but I thought vampire felt more thematic for him, just for his sort of like weird evil nature. Maybe he doesn't go around sucking the blood out of other Sims, but maybe he like keeps a stash of plasma packs or something like that at his home base. That's why you never really see him having to like eat or leave his headquarters. Here I'm struggling to figure out what on earth I can do with his face. Like, he's pale, he's very white. I was hoping to find something like a foundation where I could get him to just wear makeup, basically, to completely cover his face and eventually noggin with white face paint or makeup or something. I played around with some of these clown makeups, but obviously he doesn't look like that kind of clown, so we just changed his skin to the miscellaneous, just white, just white skin. Now we don't have the red rings around his cheeks, but I thought this was a pretty close approximation to what would like be his red rings. It's not quite right, but I mean, if you squint and you don't like look too closely, it's about there. And that's pretty much the hardest part of this build, is getting the head right. And I did about as best a job as I can. I looked in the clothing to see if I could cheat with just a full body suit. I'm not gonna go with a full body suit because none of these are quite right to get the red bow tie and the sort of vest undershirt situation. I think what I ended up going with doesn't actually have a vest. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It just has the undershirt. But I think it's just the closest approximation to what he actually wears. Yeah, he doesn't really have that breast sleeve normally, but at least it has the little bit of red there, which it feels like it actually is on brand. His pants are a little baggier in his usual look, so I found a pair that of slacks that works that way. His shoes, I really wanted to get his shoes right, because actually if you look at his images, he's got these sort of bulbous rounded shoes that like aren't dress shoes, at least not the way Sims 4 does dress shoes. I end up actually finding a pair of boots that I like a lot. Obviously, the top part of the boot is covered by the pants, so you can't tell just exactly how ridiculous an outfit it is. But with that pair of boots, it's just really bulbous. It gives his feet like that massive look that you actually see from this image. I do eventually give him some gloves. I just always thought he wore gloves, even though his skin is just pale white. I always assumed he's wearing gloves, so I gave him gloves anyway, even though you could hardly even tell because of his white skin. Try to flesh out his body shape a little bit. Obviously, he's supposed to be shorter, but you don't really get the option to change height on The Sims, so I just kind of like evened him out a little bit. I think based on some side angles that I've seen in Inkagames, he's not particularly pudgy, he's not particularly skinny, he's just kind of mid-range. I went through and looked at all the default different styles of clothing that they had just for giggles, but for the most part I went ahead and made sure everything was just his standard look and made a couple of changes here and there that I thought were just kind of interesting or a neat idea. For the most part right now, I'm just getting rid of all the extra gubbins I'm going to flip through. I think I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do his blue suit, and I ended up just using the same suit, and it has a blue, but it changes the color of the tie to blue too, which is a little bit of a bummer because we wanted to keep the tie the same, but I went ahead and just gave him the blue suit, blue slacks, and brown shoes for his alternate look that you do sometimes see him wearing. There is another alternative Pigsaw look where his hair is green. I didn't give him that in this because that look at this point in Inkagames and Mazniac is a very old look, but I thought the blue suit would at least be a nice nod to an older design that we had. I did want to change up the other looks slightly, so in athletics, I think I ended up giving him a hat. I think I gave him like a ball cap, I think I gave him, was it a red cap or a black cap? Cap. I couldn't decide. I think I gave him red to match the bow tie. I thought that was kind of silly. What are we on right now? I think I was trying to decide what I wanted to do for like swimwear. I think I don't do anything with swimwear. I think Pigsaw just wouldn't actually be in swimwear. He might be at the beach in his actual suit. I went ahead and gave him something to sleep in that wasn't his suit. I did have to lose the boot, so I thought these argyle socks would be just kind of hilarious. I don't know, just something about that. It's like just bathrobe argyle socks. I just thought would be really fun and special for Pigsaw. Beyond that, I didn't really change incredibly much. I wanted to give him a nightcap, like you might see from like a show or something. I couldn't find anything that looked nightcappy to me, so I did give him this weird beanie. It doesn't make any sense. I gave it to him anyway. He's a very silly man when he goes to bed, I suppose. I did decide to give him a summer look with sunglasses. To make him a little extra incognito when it's hot and when it's cold. I gave him the Christmas cap just because I figured we have seen him in a Christmas cap before. I didn't give him a full Christmas suit. Let me know if you'd rather see that. I mean, let me know what you think, like with these other looks besides the everyday looks, all the other ones, what that might be. I do change his name to Pigsaw Jig Trap at this point because that's one of his other aliases. Here I'm messing around with actually like what he should sound like. Obviously I have a different take on what his voice should sound like. It's more like, hello, you're playing my game, whatever. It's this raspy thing that I do, but I can't really get my voice as low as if you played the older Inkagames games where Pigsaw was actually voice acted. Just a little bit. It wasn't for very many games. It was just a couple games he actually had voice acting. I don't know if that's Aldo himself actually doing the voice acting. I don't remember. I feel like I asked him that in our interview years ago, and I don't remember if that was him or someone else. I feel like it was actually him doing a voice. I don't remember, but needless to say, I remembered it being as sort of deeper, so I kind of went with this sound, and I kept fudging around trying to figure out how deep it should actually be versus how high-pitched it should be, but I do end up going with that. What is that? Clear, I think, with the clear sort of sound. I end up going with that. Then I have to figure out what his aspiration should be. I figure Deviance makes the most sense, and I end up going with Public Enemy, although Mischief makes sense too. His main thing is kidnapping people, and I didn't know if that was like Public Enemy making enemies, or Mischief because like he's always putting them in games. I ended up going with Public Enemy. I thought maybe that makes the most sense. Obviously, I wanted to make him evil. And I initially thought neat and perfectionist, and neat because he's like, you know, suit and tie, very proper or whatever, and perfectionist because of him setting his traps and all of that, and like needing to be just perfect or just so. But I do end up changing my mind on this a little bit and going with being more self-absorbed, and I think I even changed the perfectionist a little bit later too. We'll see what I change it to. For his likes and dislikes, I figured I wanted to do like, you know, his mischief. I figured like anything that's sort of handy, like handiwork and the video games, anything that he's kind of like been a part of or done in the past. I even gave him gardening just because like plants are a common feature of his traps. I made him dislike media production just as a nod towards him disliking YouTubers that solve his games. And for colors that he liked, I figured black and red. I don't know if there's a color he doesn't like, so I didn't really take a guess at that one. And in terms of other things that he could like, in terms of music, I wasn't quite sure what to go with. Let me know what you think. I gave him like some like classical, like jazz, and I made him not like pop and S-pop. Although S-pop, he probably should like. He kidnapped BTS that one time, and I think he was a big fan. So anyway, this is what I ended up going with. I ended up changing perfectionist out for genius because he seems to be quite intelligent, and I gave him like enjoyment of rocket science and that kind of thing, because he literally invents these teleporters for the different games. I gave him the what was it, the swagger walk, just because I thought, you know, I feel like he's someone who walks with some degree of confidence, and well, there you go. Besides the vampire-ness of it, that I don't really like him going rawr, rawr all the frickin' time. I don't really care for that. But this is Pigsaw. Let me know what you thought about this video.